Hey, what's up guys? Chris here with DIY E65 E66.com, and tonight's video what we're going to do is we're going to get into fixing what you probably think is a lower radiator hose leak and what is a known problem on the 7 Series engines, and also this is a problem on the 6 Series engines. So if you know anybody that has a 6 Series, they probably experience this too. It's really not the lower hose on the radiator, which is down here. It's actually where the sensor goes in. It's the O-ring. And so let's go ahead and just get into the project and let me show you exactly what it is. So let's get right into the job here. We need to remove this cover right here, and of course this is the front engine cover, and this is right over your radiator. We're going to remove 1, 2, 3, 4 over here, and you want to grab your T30. Okay, we got our 4 bolts out, 1, 2, 3, 4, and these have a connecting washer right there, which I believe they're connected, which won't fall off, but make sure those washers don't fall off. Alright, now we need to get this piece off here, and I'm going to take my flathead screwdriver. I'm going to unscrew this on this side, the driver's side, and the passenger side. I'm going to wiggle these tubes back on each side, wiggle these tubes back, and then just remove this whole piece and then prop it up over here. And then to get the box off here, just flip these clips here and here. Go ahead and lift up here. Release those tabs right there, and this whole box there. And there's your engine air filters, so be careful not to get dirt and dust and debris on those. So let's do the same thing over here. Let's loosen this one, pop the tabs, screw that back, lift up the housing. Okay. There's the second one. Okay, so now we need to remove the 4 bolts on top of the engine cover, just like if you remember my CCV vent valves video. So you're going to take your 10mm, and these are pretty easy actually. These I really didn't tighten down, I just hand tightened them down. And there's going to be 4 bolts just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's remove all 4 of those. Okay, with all 4 bolts out, this is pretty easy. You just lift up, straight up, and out. And so now what we have to do is we need to go ahead and remove this from here. If you want, you can just remove this part here, but I'm going to go ahead and unscrew this one, pull the whole thing out here. But be careful when you pull this out, you still have this attached, and you have a couple sensors running under here. I'll show you in a second. Okay, now that's off here. We got to be careful because we still have a sensor right down here. Now we're on the driver's side, and we just need to unclip that. That comes around right there. Okay, and remember on the driver's side here, you still have the one little cord coming in on the bottom here that we unlatched. I'm not going to take it off completely. So what I'm going to do here is it's hooked up in this little roundabout here. So let's go ahead and get that through without pulling too hard. There we go, we freed it up. So now our wire is nice and freed up. Watch your dirt not to get on your air filter there. And let's go ahead and undo this here. There's little tabs here, 1, 2, and then 2 on the other side right here. You need to lift up with your fingernail carefully. There we go. You'll hear a little pop there. Then you get the other side here. And we need to open that up. Okay. Be very careful with this here, not to rip up these little tabs. Again, there's 4 of them there. And then this will go ahead and remove there. And again, on the bottom there's just this little push button. Let me show you here. Right here, you just push that, and then it slides right off. And the whole point is we want to get that out of the way. So remember where that latches onto right there. And let's just set that out of the way for right now. And then what we're going to do here So we're going to take our whole housing and we're just going to set it up out of the way over here. Again, guys, this wire on the driver's side is still attached, so be careful about that. Again, I just lightly removed it, and then I got my whole front engine cover here, and I made sure I'm not going to squash anything on top. I lightly set it up there. And now you're going to come over here, down here to the left. Let me turn on a little bit more light. And the first thing you think about is you see this here, and that's where our coolant leak is coming from here. But it's actually the sensor. This is our lower hose right here. And watch my other video. I just connected the thermostat. That's why there's a bunch of coolant down here. I just put in a brand new thermostat. So watch that video if you want to know about that. But right down here, there is the sensor here. And there's a small little metal push-in button right there. So let's push that in. And let's pull that sensor up out of there. And let me show you how to fix that. Okay, sorry if my hand gets in the way there, but I'm just going to push in that little silver piece there, and I'll show you exactly, and then you just pry it up there. There's the sensor. So let's go ahead and... That's the sensor covering. There it is there. That's the sensor covering, so you just push in that little metal piece right there, right below my middle finger. Pull that up, and that exposes the sensor. Okay guys, again, this is on the passenger side of the car, if I didn't make that clear already. So here is your passenger side air box and coolant expansion tank there. And once again, here is your sensor. Now that the sensor cover is over, it's kind of hard to see, but there's one tab I'm pushing in with my finger on this side, one on the other side that you just pinch in like this. And if you want to protect your hands, put a paper towel over it, pinch in, and if you just want to pull straight up. But the problem is, though, is that mine, because the coolant leak was coming from the sensor, which most of the problems are, it was really jammed in there nice and tight. So I literally just pinched it in, and it took me a while to remove it, but I pinched it in and just slowly wiggle it this way, wiggle it that way, wiggle it this way. And it's going to hurt your fingers, but just keep going at it, and then it'll finally pop loose. But it's going to be kind of hard to film this because once I take that out, coolant is going to start gushing everywhere. So I'm going to have to jimmy rig some idea, because all I am doing is replacing the O-ring on the end, and I'll show you that, but let me show the O-ring right now. Okay, now if you don't have a dealership next to you for the O-ring, which actually is going to cost you about $5 for a replacement green O-ring, you can go ahead and pick these up. This brand is Danco, D-A-N-C-O. These are number 31. I got this at Home Depot. There's actually 10 in here for, I believe, $2.27. And again, $2.27. That's a fantastic deal. So I have 10, and I'm probably going to do a giveaway for some of these as well, because obviously I don't need 10 of them. So I'm going to pull out the old sensor, and I'm going to jimmy rig something in there to stop it up so I don't lose too much coolant. And then I'm going to go ahead and replace it with the O-ring. Okay guys, and that wasn't that bad. So again, here is the little side things right here I was talking about. You pinch those and you just pull that straight back. So it's in there like this. You push down like this, pull it straight back. If it doesn't go, wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it, and then it'll go, and then it'll break free because the old coolant just jams it in there. So the problem is this O-ring right here. This is your sensor. This is your O-ring, and the sensors aren't too expensive. You just want to replace the whole thing. But again, I'm going to go for just the O-ring. And what happens is the guys in the that have 6 series also complain, same thing. These O-rings, they shrink, which allows the coolant to seep up and leak. So there is where our sensor came from right there. As you can see, the crust of the old coolant there. And actually, it wasn't too bad. I removed it, and I didn't really have to plug that up at all. About maybe 2 ounces fell out. Not bad at all. And so let's go ahead and replace the O-ring. And first off, we're going to go ahead and just clean it completely with a paper towel, get rid of all that old gunk that was keeping it lodged in there. Okay, with the new sensor clean, let's go ahead and remove that O-ring just like we do our oil changes. We're going to just pry it off like a bicycle tube, real lightly, not to scratch or ding anything. Pull it on up. Okay, the weapon of choice tonight is going to be our paint scraper. And again, be very careful. But we're going to get in there, right there. And we're just going to pry it up carefully. Okay. See that now that it's up there. Just push it up with your finger. Pops right off. That's the old one there. Let's take a look at the new one. I'll show you the shrinkage. Okay, and it's kind of hard to see on camera, but there is actually a significance in the interior of it. The thickness of it has actually shrunken a little bit. Again, the green one is the old one, black one is the new one. And so we're going to go ahead and put that back on, and we're going to go ahead and lubricate it with coolant there, and we'll go ahead and put it back on. And you want to probably use gloves, but I'm in a rush right now. So it's lubricated. Now let's go ahead and stick it back on. And what you just do is just kind of roll it down on top of the sensor, one side at a time like that, until it's on there, just like that, making sure it's nice and lubricated. Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and stick that back in. Okay, forgive my hand if I get in the way here, but how you want to stick this back in is, see where my finger is I'm pointing to right there? There's a little knob that goes straight up. See how the back is round, and then on the top it's just like that. That's the way it goes straight down. Okay, and forgive me if you can't see too well, but we're probably going to hear a pop, so let's listen here as I push it down on it with my thumb. I did kind of hear a small pop, so that might have been it. Alright, now you take your sensor wire here, and again the metal part facing up there, and go ahead and slip it right on. Again, the metal part facing up right where my finger is, and slide it on down, and that you'll actually hear a pop on that one. So again, nice and tight right there. And again, I didn't lose too much coolant when I pulled mine out, because right before I did that I actually just replaced my thermostat, and so I don't think the pressure was quite built up enough. I lost a lot of coolant when I did my thermostat, but I don't think the pressure was built up where it was back down in that hose. And so now, if you haven't replaced the thermostat and you just did the sensor to fix your lower hose coolant leak, then you want to come over here to the expansion tank, open that up. If there's a lot gone, you want to do the 50-50 mixture or full strength, and then distilled water, equal amounts. Fill that back up to the proper levels. I did that in my thermostat video, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the thermostat video. He'll explain everything. Alright, now we just need to go ahead and put the covering back on, screw in the bolts, clean up, and we're done. Alright guys, now to finish up here, again, we're going to have to put this back on there, screw in that flathead. I loosened that one, so I'm going to screw that one back in, relatch our sensor, then we're going to put our boxes back on and latch these on here, and then again, remember you still have that, you still have this here that we need to put back in this little slot here. So let's go ahead and do some of those things there, and I'm going to walk through this pretty quickly because you just reverse the process to put it all back together. Okay, this is all the way pressed all the way back against there, nice and firm. Tighten that one up, then tighten that one up. Okay, and this wire, now we're on the driver's side here, and this wire going in, make sure that is well connected to where it needs to go, right up there. Okay, zigzags around those little latches exactly how you took it off. We go back over here, and we did loosen it from this little clamp right here. So let's go ahead and push that back in there. Okay, now it's in that little clamp there. Now, let's grab our sensor right here. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put this back on, clamp it down, just like that with the wire coming out the back side there. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put back the driver's side box here. So see the tab right up there, right where I'm shaking it there? You're going to get those two tabs underneath there and there. And then we're going to screw this on, push this down, pop our tabs in. Now, same thing with our passenger side here. Now let's go ahead and tighten down this one and this one here. Alright guys, now we're going to take our longer silver bolts and put 1, 2, 3, 4 back in. And lastly, we just need to put the engine hood right back on there. And the reason why we took that off again was to access that part of the tubing there. And let's go ahead and put our bolts back in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alrighty guys, and that's it. We have our new sensor, not our new sensor, but our new O-ring on the sensor, or if you've replaced it with a new sensor. And again, you know, if it's optional if you want to put in a new hose or not, but again, the coolant leak is from that little itty bitty O-ring. Now, if you'd like to get your hands on your own little O-ring there, again, I have 9 of them left, so come over and say hello to me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/DIY BMW E65 E66. Come say hello, like the page, drop a line, and then I'll get a hold of you over message, and then just let me know if you want a little O-ring. But if you don't want to do all that, just go on over to the Home Depot there. Alrighty, so come say hello to me, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay, great. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and head on over to DIYE65E66.com and say hello to me, drop a comment. Appreciate you guys. Take care.